Bloons Tower Defense 5, it has 21 towers and we're going to rank every single tower. We're going to rank these by how helpful they are up to around 100, and please remember that this is just my personal opinion, so you and I might think differently, and that's okay. At the last place we have the Boomerang. You cannot start with him cause he struggles with even hitting the balloons, but when you've upgraded him 3 times in any direction, then he becomes usable to maybe around 50, but still he isn't that great and you don't get anything special from him if you would sacrifice him to a temple. Then we have the Mortar, and he's very expensive for doing so little. I know he's not completely bad, but you can't really start with him since he costs so much and he's not very good at soloing rounds. And on the late game he doesn't really do much, he hits every Moab maybe like once or twice. So he is at his best during the middle game, pretty similar to the Boomerang. But if you sacrifice him, he actually gives the God Temple special effects. Moving on to the Spike Factory, and in the beginning it's not worth having a Spike Factory because you have the regular road spikes and they're way cheaper. And on the later rounds the Spike Factory isn't that helpful because if you're leaking in the late game then you're probably not gonna leak just a few balloons. Also, I'd rather upgrade my actual defense instead. If you have a backup plan, then you lower the chance of your actual plan to succeed. Next up is Engineer. He's fairly cheap for what he does, which makes him pretty decent in the early game. His left side is also decent for the mid game, giving you money and removing camos etc, but in the late game he's really bad. The only thing that's even usable in the late game is his ability, and it's not that great. Then we have Tack Shooter. First of all, it's pretty hard to find a good place for it because it has such a short range, and you need to upgrade it pretty much before it even becomes usable, thus making it pretty bad for the early game. But the left side makes it great for the mid game because it can shred through lots of balloons and even lead balloons. However, it really dips down in the late game. It doesn't become terrible, but pretty bad. Moving on to the pirate ship, I would say it's good in the early and mid game because it can shoot low damage very quickly, and upgrading it to a 2-2 is cheap, making it very good for the early game. Both sides are good for the mid game, but the left side is superior to the other one. Fully upgrading this on any side is bad, cause the right side you get an ability which is only useful on round 46 and 60 and completely useless on the other rounds. And on the left side it's alright, but it's not too great in my opinion. Next up is the Helicopter. It's too expensive for the early game and honestly kinda expensive for the mid game as well. But if you could afford it, then it's going to do much in the mid game, but chances are that you're gonna have to focus on other things. And that makes it somewhat only helpful for the late game. The left side is pretty good for around like 0 to 70, but since you can't afford it until maybe around almost like 40, depending on what in-game upgrades you have. Then we have the Ice Tower, and since it's a support you don't want to start with this tower. Like, it's a pretty cheap tower and it helps, but personally I would never use it over Glue Gunner, cause it's very similar but he hits more balloons. I think he hits every single balloon if you have him upgraded to a 2-2. So there isn't really a point to use a tower that slows down less balloons. I suppose the Ice Tower is more for damage and slow, but the damage dealer does it better than him anyway. Moving on to the Bomb Tower, and the funny thing with the Bomb Tower is that I feel like people think that this is the main lead attacker and there's a few others. But there isn't a few others, literally every single tower apart from the banana farm can destroy lead with the right upgrades. And when you see it like that, then you realize that it isn't that unique. The left side stuns balloons, same as Ninja Monkey's right side. So the only unique thing is the Moab Mauler, which is fairly decent because it's a cheap way to handle Moabs, but the thing is that you don't really need a cheap way to handle Moabs because they don't appear until the mid game. Now we have Dart Monkey. This is the superior Start Monkey. He does the most for the least amount of money. He's also very good in the middle game, being able to take down both leads and camos, and when you upgrade him to a 2-4, then he can easily handle Moabs with his ability. And it's quite expensive, but if you combine every upgrade, he's still one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest. But yeah, his late game is really bad. Next up is the Submarine. He's decent in the early game, and he can use other towers' ranges, which is quite useful. And his mid game is alright, but the best part is the late game, where he can one-shot the most powerful balloon in the entire game. And if it's only a BFB or a Moab, then he can take down multiple. He's definitely one of the best late game towers. I would say that the biggest flaw is that he can only be placed in the water, which like 50% of the maps don't even have, and if they do, it's a very small amount of it. Entering top 10 with Dartling Gunner, besides being a pain to use, is definitely one of the best late game towers with his Ray of Doom. If you have multiple of them, you don't need any other tower, you need like 5 of those and then you can get to around 100. But to afford it, you have to find the end of a rainbow and sell both your kidneys, but once you've done that, you'll be fine. Then we have Glue Gunner, which slows all balloons by 50%, so basically he gives every other tower 50% more time to attack them, and that is to me pretty crazy. And what's even more crazy is that it's very cheap. Honestly, you just need him to be a 2-2, and that doesn't cost much at all. The biggest flaw with him is that he cannot slow down Moabs, so after around like 80 or something, he becomes really bad. Moving on to Sniper, and the only reason he's good is because he can stun Moabs whilst doing a lot of damage to them. That's pretty much it for the Sniper. Next up is Bloon Shipper, which can also stun Moabs, but this stun is better than the Sniper stun. And it can also do pretty good against normal balloons, but I would say its main goal is to stun Moabs. Then we have Monkey Ace, and if you don't fully upgrade this one, then it's kinda useless, but both sides' last upgrade is very good. The right side gives the ability that drops a nuke and destroys every balloon and damages Moabs a lot. But the best side is probably the left side that deals insane damage to everything and can reach everywhere. Entering top 5 with the Monkey Apprentice, and both of his paths are actually very good, and both of them are good in the mid game. The ability isn't that great, or it's alright. Having a pretty cheap monkey that can target lead and camos with 2 good paths and can give the God Temple a special effect is to me pretty good. Moving on to the Monkey Village, making every single tower cheaper to upgrade and giving them longer range and makes them shoot faster and makes them pop more layers and makes them detect every single balloon type and reduces the cooldown of abilities and also gives you more money. Plus has one of the best abilities in the game. At third place we have Ninja Monkey, which is one of, if not the best starting monkey and pretty much can get to the late game single-handedly. In the late game he isn't as good, but then you change him from a 4-2 to a 2-4, then he's still very good even in the late game with the ability. Cause it slows every balloon, giving every tower more time to shoot them, and that's good no matter the round. And then we have Super Monkey. I don't think I have to say too much. He's the strongest tower in the entire game, and it's not even close. Without even fully upgrading this guy, he is stronger than any other tower. Anyway, at the first place we have the Banana Farm. It makes you be able to afford any of the previous towers in a blink. You can get the strongest tower before the mid-game even starts with help of the Banana Farm. I don't like to use this word too much, but this tower is OP. It's so powerful it becomes boring. But I would like to hear what you think is the best tower in the game, and if you like these kind of videos, then I would recommend subscribing, cause I make and will be making a lot of these sort of videos. But that's only if you go to enjoy though. Anyway, thanks for watching, and goodbye.